Well, hello there. How are you doing today? Do you feel like doing a little bit of Dollar Tree DIYing with me today? Come on in. Let's get started. What do I have going on for you for today? Well, today I am bringing to you a DIY tier tray that I think you are absolutely going to love. Now, if that wood one that I made out of Jenga blocks was not for you, boy oh boy, is this a round one that I think you are gonna love, that I am obsessed with. And it's using items that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and the outcome is amazing. So I'm gonna quit my gabbing, let's jump into it, and let's do some Dollar Tree DIYing on a budget. Because why not? Because that's what we do here. Let's get to it. Who is today's KB Creations Crafter of the Day? You'll want to stick around to the end of the video to see if it's your creation that's being featured in today's video. If you're interested in being featured as a Crafter of the Day in one of my videos, submit a picture of one of your recreations of a DIY that I've done to either Facebook or Instagram. If you want to DM it to me, you can. Then you just simply have to look out for the end of each video to see if it's your DIY that I will be featuring in that given video. Alrighty, are you ready to see all the great DIYs that you can do using clothespins? You're gonna pick up 4 for this first one. And when you're at Dollar Tree, why don't you pick up one of these large plates and a smaller one? A good glue is needed for this DIY, so I'm going with this clear Gorilla Glue. This is a great glue. It does take a while to dry, so I'm gonna do this at night. I'm gonna let this project sit while I sleep. I'm starting off by taking this glue, and on the smaller plate, I'm gonna outline the side edge with the Gorilla Glue. I'm gonna place my clothespins right along the side of the edge where I stuck the Gorilla Glue, and I'm gonna tack it down with just a bit of hot glue just to keep these clothespins in place, because truth be told, they were kind of toppling over with just the Gorilla Glue itself, because like I said, it's gonna take a minute for this glue to dry, so I'm gonna let this set overnight after I do this. You don't need a lot of hot glue, just a dot there just to hold it in place. And I'm gonna put these clothespins around this smaller plate and the larger one. So like I said, you're gonna need 4 packs of these clothespins that you can get from Dollar Tree. Once you've got both plates done, I did go in with the hot glue and just kind of tack it down just a bit more on the inside and on the bottom of each of the plates just to hold it in a bit better. This is the larger one. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna flip this over, and on the bottom side of this, I wanted to kind of make it elevated. So to do that, I figured I'd use some of these dice that come in a 3-pack. You're only gonna need 1 set. And for video purposes, I'm just using hot glue to tack these down just to kind of elevate it a bit up off of, I guess, the clothespins themselves. In the center of this larger plate, I'm gonna take 3 of the wood cubes from Dollar Tree. And again, for video purposes, I'm using hot glue. I would definitely use the E6000 or the Gorilla Glue, but I really needed to get this moving because I am short on time. So I will probably come back later and glue it down a bit better if it kind of loosens up. But I'm gonna go ahead and glue 3 of these blocks on top of each other, and this is going to be what elevates the 2 plates from each other, the larger one being on the bottom and the smaller one being here at the top. Yeah, this piece is going to be amazing. I'm sure this is one that you have seen something very similar to on Pinterest, but I am loving the rustic look of it. Once I've got this done, I did decide to go in with some of Minwax's Early American Stain. Yes, this is my absolute favorite stain. If it isn't a color for you, Minwax has a ton of stain colors. There is sure to be one that fits your decor style. Using a paintbrush, I'm just gonna go in and paint these clothespins, and let me just tell you, this was probably the most hideous part of doing this DIY because there are so many parts to the wood clothespins and there are so many clothespins. But nonetheless, it took about a half an hour to do, and the outcome is going to be amazing. What's great about this piece is it is an interchangeable, versatile piece. You can add whatever flowers you want based on the season or your decor style. There at the top, I took one of Michael's candles that are 3 for $7.99 right now and thought that it was perfect. And what a great accent piece to put on an end table or on a kitchen counter. Here it is. I love this piece. Quick, easy, and budget friendly. How about this DIY using clothespins? This is one I did in one of Courtney's mystery box challenges. Alrighty, let's start this challenge off with the hexagon pieces. I'm gonna use the larger one, which is the frame. It's got some glass in here that I don't much need, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the glass and discard it. Remove the stand here on the back. Then I'm gonna go ahead and replace the cardboard back into the frame, giving me kind of a blank canvas. Since we're allowed to dig into our stash, I did just that and grabbed some wood clothespins. I don't need the whole clothespin, I just need the wood parts of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble it. Now, if you don't wanna disassemble it and you wanna use the whole clothespin for this DIY, you can, but to keep costs down, I am taking them apart. I started off by hot gluing the clothespins to each of the points of the frame here. I figured out that once I did those points, it was so much easier to then put the clothespins in between each of the points and evenly space them and kind of angle them the way I needed to angle them. Now, this is a hexagon frame, which means it is an odd shape. It's not round. So the points on the frame, there is going to be more spacing. It's gonna be a bit uneven. So after pondering this for a bit, in those odd, uneven open spaces here, yeah, I would just take a couple more clothespins and just hot glue them right there on top, kind of disguising it. I wasn't sure if it was gonna look great, but after I got a couple of them on, I was pretty happy with how it looked and I felt like it added just a bit of character to it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that turned out better than I thought, and I'm happy with how it looks. These clothespins, well, they're gonna get a good couple coats with some of Waverly's chalk paint in the color of maize. It is my favorite yellow by far. And to the center of this, why not? Let's go in with some of Hello Hobby's darker brown. It's like a cafe, don't ask me how to pronounce that next word. My tongue just won't do it. But it's a nice dark espresso brown that I love. And so, yeah, this is a piece that I am just kind of creating as I go. Not really sure how it's gonna turn out, but we'll see. I think I can add this smaller hexagon plaque. It comes equipped with this aluminum welcome word. So I'm gonna set this aside because I think I can use it. Now, as you can see, I had painted it a rust brown before because, like I said, this DIY, I was just kind of creating as I was going and the color just wasn't working for me. So I'm gonna go back over it with some of the dark brown. I got a couple packs of these wood dice. I think these will help add some dimension to this piece. So I went ahead and painted them brown. And I'm going to just use some hot glue to adhere them to the center of this. Now, I know the paint job isn't great on this, but it's not gonna show, so I wasn't super worried about it. Gonna hit the top of these dice with some hot glue so I can then add our smaller hexagon plaque to the top. In turn, look at that, giving this piece some dimension. This one had me a little bit stumped. The challenge item, which is a diaper. Thank you, Megan. I really pondered this for a minute. Then I decided I was just gonna go for it and disassemble this diaper. I am not using it in its entirety because for the life of me, I could not figure out how to. But boy, oh boy, do I have something in store for you using this diaper. I did use it. But I did not use the inside of it, meaning all of the cotton. And I wanna say there is like a silica type of sand in there, which would be, I guess, the super absorbent stuff. Yeah, that just kind of made a hot mess. So I went ahead and cut off the elastic and am really just taking this apart to utilize it for the paper portion of the diaper. Is it paper? the paper fabric portion of it. What is the outside of a diaper? Somebody tell me. I could probably Google it. I'm gonna Google it. Please hold. Google, what is the outside of a diaper made of? Well, now that we know that, fun fact of the day. I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the lining of the diaper after I removed the cotton and the filling from it. And I'm gonna cut this into strips. I'm gonna cut it into 2-inch strips, and I'm hoping that I can get about 3 or 4 of them out of this. Who said you can't paint a diaper, right? You're on my channel. I paint everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the lining of this diaper because the color just isn't rustic, it isn't farmhouse, and it's just not gonna work for me. So why not? There's no rule against that, right? I didn't have to use the diaper in its entirety or its color. My diaper strips are dry. I'm laughing. I really did paint diaper. But you know what? It's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna take my strips and I'm gonna hot glue them together. Well, I'm gonna fold it in half and hot glue it closed, right? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. My painted diaper strips, they need slits in them, because why not? When I cut the slits, I'm cutting it on the side of the strip that was folded over, not the side that was glued. And you can see that I'm not cutting all the way through the strip. I'm just making these slits, and I'm gonna do that the full length of my diaper strips. And I think I did 3, or was it 4 diaper strips total? Anywho, I'm gonna do it to all my diaper strips. What am I doing with these strips that I just cut slits in? Well, I'm gonna roll it. And as I roll it, I'm gonna kind of hot glue it every now and again to keep it rolled, but you can see how I'm doing it. When I hot glue it, I'm gonna hot glue it there at the base where I glued the diaper strip together, not on the end that I cut the slits in. What is this going to be? This is going to be the center of my sunflower. Kind of emulating maybe sunflower seeds. I don't know, a sunflower has a darker center. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just roll all of my strips together, making one big center. Or I hope it's gonna be big. We'll see. Okay, looking good so far, better than I thought. It's working. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this process with my other 2 or 3 diaper strips. And I'm gonna attach them to what I already rolled, just continuing on with the rolling, in turn making the center of what will be my sunflower bigger. Four diaper strips later, and this is what we're left with. Pretty cool looking, but it's not big enough. So I figured I'd add to it using the leather roll that Jennifer sent to me. And so pretty much doing the same thing that I did with the diaper paper, the diaper lining, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my leather into strips. Now this is, I wanna say 1.5-inch strips is that I'm doing. I'm really just kind of eyeballing it. And I'm gonna do the same process with these leather strips that I did with the diaper. I'm gonna fold those strips in half, hot gluing the 2 sides together. Why not? I'm gonna paint leather too. I want the center of my sunflower to match. So I think I have 6 or 8 strips of leather that I got from that roll. And these 2 need some slits in them as well. So my thought process was, how could I incorporate this diaper into the DIY and kind of disguise that it was a diaper? I knew I wouldn't be able to make the center of the sunflower large enough just using the diaper itself, but I knew that I could get it quite a bit bigger if I cut up the leather roll and did the same thing. And so just by using the diaper in the center, making the center of the sunflower a bit tighter like it would be, and as it blooms, it gets bigger and wider, and I figured that it would work well and it would be hidden nicely in with the leather. And so once I've got my leather done, I'm gonna go ahead and just hot glue it. You can see the white there at the bottom, which is the diaper. And just by adding the leather to it, which is thicker and bigger, it is really going to widen the center of my sunflower, giving me the look that I'm going for, which is somewhat like sunflower seeds, the brown center of a sunflower. I am gonna hit the back of this with a bunch of hot glue and just place it right there in the center. Once I glued it on, I was seeing that some of the brown from the leather was coming through, some of the white from the diaper was still coming through, and so to disguise that, once it was glued on, I just went back in with some of the dark brown and decided to give the center of this a good coating, trying to hide some of the brown and the white from the leather and the diaper. All right, this is coming along, but it's missing something. I'd say a few somethings. It really needs something added to it. It needs burlap. Burlap and sunflowers, in my opinion, they go hand in hand. So I dug into my stash and I really wanted to stick with items that I had in my stash. I didn't want to run to Dollar Tree for anything for this mystery box. I just really wanted to keep the cost down and use what I had in my stash. This burlap, this isn't a tightly woven burlap. It is, I want to say on the cheaper side, it might be a Dollar Tree burlap. Went ahead, cut it into squares, and I'm gluing it around the outside on the back side of my sunflower. While I'm on the back side, again, dug into my stash because I need to hang this up. See, it's looking great. Once I got all that burlap on, I'm super happy with how that looks even on the back side. Wait until I flip it over. But first, we've got to add a hanger. I keep my sawtooth hangers when I take them off of things because you never know when you're gonna need them. I'm gonna place this on the back side so that way I can hang this out on my porch. For those of you who don't know, my summer porch decor is sunflowers, so this is going to be perfect for that. Love it. Look at how cute this looks. But my yellow was a bit too stark for my liking, so I'm gonna go in with some of my Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color of Walnut Stain, and I'm gonna darken up these, I guess, sunflower petals, sunflower clothespin sticks. Yeah, and I'm gonna rustic them up a bit. It was still too plain for my liking. I can't help it. I needed to add stitching to the center of this because it was just missing that quilted, handcrafted look that stitching gives to a DIY piece. Can't forget the aluminum welcome. It's gonna work perfect for the center of this. Didn't have bumblebees in my stash, but I did have these cute ladybugs that are from Dollar Tree. I got these probably a couple of years ago in the floral department because they were so stinking cute. Never knew what I was gonna do with them, but I thought that they were such a fun addition to this sunflower wreath, adding just a bit of color. Just the bit of color that it needed. Okay, let's take a look at this hung up on a tree outside. Yeah, I really do have a nail on my tree. But this is where I ended up placing it right above this couch on my front porch. This next DIY is an oldie, but it's one I still put out for the 4th of July. I'll be using Waverly's chalk paints in the color of ocean, red, and white. You're also gonna wanna pick up one of these wire wreath forms from Dollar Tree. When you see the 4th of July table scatter come out, this is foam. Pick up one of these and maybe some of the 4th of July star LED lights and 2 packs of the clothespins. And so again, for this DIY, I am going to separate the clothespins because I figured why not? It's gonna cut down on the amount of clothespins that I need, and I'm gonna get the same look and effect doing it this way versus using the whole one. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint a ton of these clothespins. To be exact, I believe I painted 30 of each color in the white, the red, and the blue. I'm gonna start off with the red and I'm gonna hot glue them onto this form. Now the sections on the form are what I am using as my guide as to how many clothespins I need for each color, which kind of makes it easy. So you can see where I'm going with this. Once I've done it, I've done 2 white and 2 red, again using those sections. And the last 2 sections I'm gonna do using the blue. How cool is this? See, you're getting the same look doing it just using half the clothespins. So now that we've got this part done, on the back here, I am going to reinforce this and hit it with a ton of hot glue. Then I'm gonna take my foam table scatter, I'm gonna pull out all the white foam stars, and in the blue section, I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue these foam stars, just kind of scattering them everywhere. Love that. Look at how good that looks. Now, I felt like this also needed a twine bow, and I did take the LED lights, I removed the stars, then I'm gonna take the stars and I'm gonna place them back in depending on where I guess the colors are. So the blue section got the blue, the clear section got the white, and the red stars go in the red section. And I'm just gonna hit the back of these battery packs with some hot glue to keep them in place. Look at there, and when I light this up, what a fun piece is that using clothespins. It's quick, it's easy, it's budget friendly, so pick some up and put this on your door for the 4th of July. Because why not? Crafting with clothespins is fun. Who is today's KB Creations Crafter of the Day? Well, it's going out to Krista Bush Johnson, who's bringing to us her recreation of my DIY Dollar Tree lantern using these wood wall decor plaques. Thank you, Krista, so much for sharing your recreation with us today. Do you not just love the look of this tray? It is such a fun one, and it doesn't have to be for those miniature tier tray items. If you really wanted to just use it for some candles or some florals, spring florals or seasonal florals, you could totally do that. It's such a versatile piece. I hope you all enjoyed today's Dollar Tree rustic tiered tray or floral display. You pick. If you're looking for more DIY inspiration, well, guess what? You can click on the video right over here and it'll take you to some of my past favorites. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, you know what I'm gonna say. Stay positive, please, because I am. Bye for now, everybody.